Hello everyone, my name is Gyanendra Kumar and I am biology educator in India. In this video, we are going to discuss a method of contraception, that is intrauterine devices. So first question will rise, what is this contraception? So contraception, it's a device or process that is used to preventing pregnancy. Yes, it's for preventing pregnancy. Couples are having sexual intercourse but did not need child. They want to create gap between the child, so then they will go for contraception methods. Now the contraception methods have different type, right? In that, one method is intrauterine devices. Intrauterine devices. So guys, this intrauterine device, it's a very effective and it's most popular method of contraception in India. Yes, in India, if you compare with any other kind of contraception, either someone is taking oral pills or using disposable intrauterine devices, barrier like condom, film shield and all. So this is considered as most popular method of contraception. Why most popular method of contraception? Because of durability. Once this IUDs will be fixed in body, they can provide contraception even 7 to 10 years. Yes, so it's very popular in India. This intrauterine devices, name is only saying everything. Intrauterine devices will be fixed in uterus, isn't it, students? It will be fixed in uterus. That's why we are calling it IUDs. And the user cannot, the person who is using it, they cannot fix it, right? So a trained doctor is required for that, or expert medical practice, expert nurses are required for that. So doctors, gynecologists, expert nurses, they will fix this device in uterus and then it will provide contraception. So through vagina it will be inserted in uterus. As for example, see, copper T, right, LNG. Okay, now this intrauterine devices, okay, they are providing contraception. They have different types. In that, first type is non-medicated intrauterine devices or inert intrauterine devices. Second one is copper releasing intrauterine devices, very important. Yes, copper releasing intrauterine devices, and then hormone releasing intrauterine devices are also very important. So let's compare these all. This non-medicated intrauterine devices, one example is Lippis loop. Yes, Lippis loop is one example. Actually, non-medical intrauterine devices are made up of polyethylene impregnated with barium sulfate or stainless steel. So polyethylene impregnated with barium sulfate and stainless steel will fixed in uterus, and after fixing in uterus it will provide contraception. By which method it will provide contraception, still unknown. Mechanism of action is unknown. I am writing here, action is still unknown. But thing is that still it's providing contraception, okay, and it's successful. This is one example. Next one is copper releasing intrauterine devices. So this copper releasing intrauterine devices, they releases copper ion. Once they will be fixed in uterus, they releases copper ion approximately 50 microgram per day. See this device. This is one copper releasing intrauterine device. So it will be fixed into the uterus like this, and after fixing in uterus it will start to release copper ion, and that copper ion released in uterus only, they will only provide contraception. How? The released copper ion, they will click on local inflammatory reaction, and this local inflammatory reaction will cause phagocytosis of sperm. Yeah, sperm will get phagocyte by phagocytic cell. So uterus environment became hostile for our spermatozoa, and then whatever sperm entered in uterus, their motility, their ability to move will be suppressed. This is very important point. In NEET, within this 5-10 years, 3 times this question have asked from these 2-3 words. So this suppresses motility of the spermatozoa, motility will reduce a lot, and obviously if motility will reduce, fertilization capacity of the spermatozoa will also reduced, is it? So finally there will be no contraception, there will be no conception, and contraception will achieve. So copper releasing intrauterine devices, they work in 2 ways, thus they suppresses spermatozoa motility and fertilization capacity, and second, they promote phagocytosis of spermatozoa in uterus. Then next one is hormone releasing intrauterine devices. So guys, these hormone releasing intrauterine devices, they releases hormone, they releases hormones. Which hormones they are releasing? They are releasing progesterone hormone, they are releasing our progesterone hormone. Example LNG20. LNG20 releases, mind it is not any gun name, LNG20 is intrauterine devices which releasing levonorgestrel. This levonorgestrel is artificial progesterone hormone. Yeah, it's artificial progesterone hormone. Very popular in India. And then next one is progestasert. This progestasert, you know, this progestasert also releases progestin hormone. Progestin is again artificial progesterone hormone. In USA, this Mirena, Liletta, Kylina is a very commonly used hormone releasing intrauterine devices, and this all releases levonorgestrel. So question is that how this levonorgestrel work? So guys, we have to understand the fact. This levonorgestrel or progestin, they are progesterone hormone, and we all know that how progesterone hormone secretion control in our body. If this is progesterone hormone, we all know progesterone hormone secreted from corpus luteum, isn't it? It's secreted from corpus luteum, and this corpus luteum is maintained by secretion of anterior pituitary. Our anterior pituitary secrete luteinizing hormone. I am writing here, this is anterior pituitary, and it's secreting luteinizing hormone. This luteinizing hormone acting on corpus luteum, and then it's maintaining corpus luteum to secrete progesterone. Whenever student progesterone hormone level is high, you know, this high level of progesterone hormone will show negative feedback to anterior pituitary. Negative feedback means when progesterone hormone is high, this luteinizing hormone secretion will be blocked, and we all know luteinizing hormone is essential for ovulation. For ovulation, it have very important role. So no luteinizing hormone, no ovulation, and that causes anovulation. So hormone releasing intrauterine devices, they causes anovulation, means they inhibit ovulation. This is called anovulation. Second, they alter uterine endometrium, not endothelium, endometrium, and it's become unsuitable. This uterine endometrium, you know, it will become unsuitable for any kind of implantation here. Yes, means implantation will be not favorable when progesterone hormone level will be high in body. this high level of progesterone hormone, they will overactivate mucus gland in cervix, and a lot of mucus will secrete, and in that mucus spermatozoa will be trapped and contraception will be achieved. Yes. And then see, we all know in our fallopian tube, yeah, if this is fallopian tube, so we all know in this fallopian tube, fertilized zygote have to move slowly uterus, right? When you are moving toward the uterus, proper motility is required in this fallopian tube. That motility will be reduced by a higher level of progesterone hormone, and secretory activity of fallopian tube will also it will reduce. So ultimately, by inhibiting ovulation, by altering endometrium nature, by increasing mucus secretion, by inhibiting motility and secretory activity of fallopian tube, we will achieve contraception. So in this video we discussed intrauterine devices, different type of intrauterine devices, hormone releasing intrauterine devices, copper releasing intrauterine devices, non-medicated intrauterine devices, and what is their mechanism of action. Remaining we will see in next video. Bye.